everyone, it's Beth from Universal Think Tank here. It's Friday again and we're back with a brand new episode to teach you all you need to know about British history. So today we're learning about the First and Second World Wars during the 20th century. Britain became known as a global superpower during the early 20th century. This was due to the development of the Navy and growing more than ever as an industrial nation. Various laws were also passed to improve social standards, including the tightening of town planning rules. This era of optimism and progress was cut short when a war broke out between many of the European nations. World War I, also known as the Great War, began on 28th of July 1914 after the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. His murder catapulted into a war across Europe that lasted until 1918. During this conflict, Germany, Austria-Hungary, Bulgaria and the Ottoman Empire, the Central Powers, fought against Great Britain, France, Russia, Italy, Romania, Japan and the United States, the Allied Powers. Thanks to new military technologies and the horrors of trench warfare, World War I saw huge levels of carnage and destruction. By the time the war was over and the Allied powers claimed victory, more than 60 million soldiers and civilians were dead. The fighting ended on the 11th of November 1918, when a general treaty was agreed by both sides. During the First World War, the British government postponed any changes in Ireland, with the Home Rule being one of those proposals. This was promised to Ireland in 1913 and meant that Ireland would have their own parliament but would still be part of the UK. Irish nationalists were not willing to wait, and in 1916 there was an uprising in Dublin against the British. The leaders of the uprising were executed under military law, and a guerrilla war against the British Army and the police in Ireland followed. In 1921 a peace treaty was signed, and in 1922 Ireland became two countries. The 6 countries in the north, which were mainly Protestant, remained part of the UK under the name Northern Ireland. The rest of Ireland became the Irish Free State. They had their own government and became a republic in 1949. The 20 years between the two wars were a time of turbulence. Britain saw a general strike and the worst economic crisis in its history. The traditional heavy industries such as shipbuilding were badly affected, but newer industries such as aviation developed. The Second World War started on the 1st of September 1939 with Hitler's invasion of Poland. The war was a battle between two groups of countries, the Allies and the Axis. The major Allied powers were Britain, France, Russia, China and the United States, and the major Axis powers were Germany, Italy and Japan. From the end of June 1940 until the German invasion of the Soviet Union in June 1941, Britain and the Empire stood alone against Nazi Germany. The Battle of Britain was when Germany bombed Great Britain in order to destroy their air force and prepare for invasion. The British resisted with their fighter planes and eventually won the crucial aerial battle against the Germans in the summer of 1940. Despite this crucial victory, the German Air Force was able to continue bombing London and other British cities at night time. The heavy and frequent bombing on London and other cities was known as the Blitz. Night after night from September 1940 until May 1941, German bombers attacked British cities, ports and industrial areas. London was bombed every day and night except one for 11 weeks, and a third of London ended up being destroyed. Despite the destruction, there was a strong national spirit of resistance in the UK. The phrase "the Blitz spirit" is still used today to describe Britain's pulling together in the face of adversity. Next week we'll be looking at Britain since 1945, including life in general and a few British inventions during that time as well. So I'll see you next Friday for a brand new episode.